Welcome to the replay. Hey everybody. Shannon, um, saying hello to you from my front porch as usual. Ooh, I don't know what that light is or if that's smeared behind me. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Hey, Tony. I talked a little bit about this yesterday. Hi, Missa. About my friend Allison, Allie Crow, having lost a friend of hers who was killed in Egypt, I believe on Sunday. Hey, Tony. And just brought up about the, how brief our lives can be and how we are only guaranteed, this moment, to be in the moment. And we should savor each moment and make the most of it. Not to be morbid, but, as I said, we all deal with death. Anyway, I should say who I am. Hey, Max. I'm Gannon Carr. I'm an intuitive life coach, healer, midwife of the spirit. If you feel like any of this is useful to you, please feel free to share with your followers or on Twitter. I love hearts. Lets me know that whatever I'm saying is resonating with you. Hey, Max. And if you're watching on the replay, you can also tap on the screen to give hearts. So just lets me know that, hey, something is clicking with everybody. Anyway, I just got in a really kind of pensive mood. Thanks for sharing, Max and Tony. Hi, Missa. How are you? And because I keep hearing other people talking about losing loved ones, and the title of my scope is, what do you want your legacy to be? And I'm in a coaching group, and each week my coach, Charity Gent, gives us homework. So it is like we have a list of questions we can work on. But this week we had the option to ask or to say what we wanted our legacy to be. So actually to write our own eulogy. Actually in third person, as if somebody was writing it about us, which I thought was really quite interesting. And at first it kind of freaked me out, like, well, that's a little morbid, but in a way you think, that's kind of cool. That's actually, how many of us would actually get to read our own eulogy? Well, I guess you could from the other side, read and know what people are saying about you. But it just got me thinking, truly, what do I want my legacy to be? What do we each want to leave behind for others? What positive influence do we want to have? So for me, it's much about to give love, to be loved, to come from that space of my heart, to hope that others feel accepted, feel that they can be themselves, and know that there's no judgment. There's no judgment here. This is much like our friend Gregory Namaste Man says on his space. This is a judgment-free zone. So I just want people to know that. So I don't know if anybody else ever thinks about that. If it's in moments like this when we hear about the death of someone else, the world will either change or destroy itself. Yeah. And there are times, I have a friend who actually said that he feels like humanity is imploding right now. Hey, Marsha, how are you? And there are times it feels like that, if people want to say the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I know there are a lot of us, though, that are here trying to make a positive change. And I feel like each one of us can make a huge impact. It's like the ripple effect. You throw the stone in the water, it can be the smallest stone and the ripples keep going on and on and on. So I think about that with each of us, and that's the kind of effect we can have on each other. And when I think about, losing loved ones, as I said yesterday, I've lost my mother, both of my in-laws, of course my grandparents quite some time ago, but it seems to be more jarring, if you will, when we lose somebody closer to our own age. Obviously, the older we get, that's more likely to happen. But when somebody young dies in some tragedy, then it really hits home. I know my daughter came home from school yesterday. Yes, absolutely, Max. and she's 16, and they had done a presentation at school where they had brought in firefighters and paramedics and policemen, and actually a mother of a young man who had been killed in a car accident. So they did that whole thing about don't text and drive and whatnot. Yeah, the butterfly effect. You need to crawl out of your chrysalis. That's okay. Maybe you need to stay in the chrysalis a while longer, but eventually we all crawl out and then we fly. But my daughter was very shaken up listening to this mother talk about, losing her son. It was 3 weeks before he was to graduate from high school, and he was in a car with 2 other boys. There was no drinking or anything. It was just an accident, and he was ejected from the car, and the car went airborne and landed on him. And then another one of the men was actually a firefighter, a paramedic, a first responder, and he said, he'd done that work for 30 years, and never in his wildest dreams did he ever think he would be the parent who had to go to the emergency room to identify the body of their child. I'm sorry if this post is getting this Periscope is getting really morbid. But his message to everybody, to the kids there at school, was to don't wait. We all wait thinking, I'll do it tomorrow, I can do it later. And that includes saying things to people, whether it's saying you love somebody or how you feel about them, or even if there's some issue you have with somebody and you just need to, make amends, to do it now. And he said to the teachers that were there, go home and hug your children tight, because you don't know if today is your last day. As I said, I don't mean for this to become morbid. I have a poem here too that I wanted to read. Yeah, don't think, just do it. Yeah, it is just do it. Just be in the moment, because today's it. Live in the moment. Make the most of it. Love each other. Tell each other how you feel. But in the same time, when someone dies, obviously we grieve, we cry, we get angry or what have you. We are not grieving for the one who has passed over. We're grieving for ourselves, because that individual has gone on. Hey, Linda. They're in the light now. They are the light. So that, it sounds cliche, they're in a better place, but they are. We grieve for ourselves because we miss their physical presence. Yes, they're still with us. I still feel my loved ones around me energetically, but I can't tell you that I still wish I could pick up the phone and talk to my mother, or, hey, Angel, or call my mother-in-law, or hug them, or whatever. So that doesn't change. But there's a poem. I'm so inspired by Jeffrey every time he reads a poem. Welcome. But this poem is, they were in Rio while we were still playing. And several, yeah. When we do miss their love. I'm well, thank you. How are you? I'm well. This poem is by Khalil Gibran. Some people call him Khalil Gibran, but either way, it's actually Khalil Gibran. And I love his poems. I have his book, The Prophet, and some of you may be familiar with him. But this poem, oh, great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, and thank you for being here. But this poem is entitled On Death. Hey, Julie, welcome. Yeah, great poet. And this poem struck me so much, and I'll read it more than once, but just when I listen to, hi, sweetie, how are you? Exactly what it says, and it puts the perspective of what happens and where our loved ones, or where we go in death. So here we go. It's called On Death. You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. and like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? What is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing, and when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. So I just, that just shows that visual for me about, your breath, your last breath becoming, the breath of eternity, and you leave behind your earthly body so you can dance, you can become the energy, you can become one with everything. So yeah, I don't know if anybody resonates with that. If that, I don't know if this is, oh God, sorry, I thought my camera was smeared. If that makes death seem more, I don't want to say acceptable, more peaceful to you to hear something like that. I mean, I'm sure spiritually we all know that part of us knows that those who go on, who pass away, who transition, whatever you want to say, are in a better place, are happy, are at one with the light, are pure energy. But like I said, there's the mind, there's our ego, there's our heart that still hurts. So when I read something like this, it allows me to kind of visualize that, and see that indeed that we, I can picture those I love, dancing, particularly if they had some physical ailments. Reminds me of what I once read from Ellen Watts. At birth, you woke up after never sleeping. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah, I like that. My mother had some physical, pretty images in death. You sleep without never waking. But my mother had some physical issues, and so I know that, now she's unencumbered by all of those. And I actually she was in a wheelchair a few years before she passed away, and whenever I dream of her, she's never in a wheelchair. She's always walking, she's always healthy, she's always happy. So to me, that is her spirit coming to me and giving me that message that yes, this is my true form, this is who I am. And I don't have anything, there's no pain, there's no limitations anymore, because I am pure energy, pure light. And at least that's the way I like to take it. Some people think, oh, it's just a dream. Hey, Greg, but I don't believe that. I have been fortunate enough to have dreams fairly regularly about loved ones who passed away. My mother, my mother-in-law, my grandparents. Actually, one of my favorite dreams, which reminds me of what do you want your legacy to be? My mother-in-law and my mom both passed away somewhat unexpectedly, but my mother-in-law was very funny. We were extremely close because my husband is an only child, so I was sort of the daughter she never had. And she was extremely witty. And I had a dream the night before her memorial service that she was sitting with me. And in the dream, I was fully aware that she was not alive anymore, but she looked like you and I. She's just sitting there hanging out. And she wanted to read all the condolence cards that everybody sent because she wanted to see what everybody had to say about her. which made me laugh, in my dream, and actually laugh when I woke up, because that's so my mother-in-law, like, oh, okay, hey, what everybody have to say about me, which of course were always, which were wonderful things, but she was cooking, smiling, and listening. Oh, that sounds like a good combo. I often do the cooking too while I listen, Greg, so thank you for being here. Yeah, it's just... does anybody want me to read the poem again? I found it today. Like I said, I have books by Khalil Gibran, but when I read that one, there was something about it that really struck me as really, oh yes, please. Thank you, Gray. Hey, Lisa. I missed you today. You haven't been scoping, have you? I haven't seen Bumble on any, you haven't been scoping today, have you, Lisa? Or if you did, I didn't see it. I missed it. I saw you this morning early on another scope, but I'm missing our chubby little Bumble on scopes. I know you're going to mail Bumble to me in a FedEx box, but I don't think my husband would be happy with another dog, but I'll take it. Oh, you've been in the hospitals with both dads? Oh, I'm sorry, hon. How's Julio's dad? Is he better? Yes, I sent it to you earlier. You sent them to me earlier. Oh, okay, I'll be on the lookout for him then. You dream about your grandmother all the time, Max. Yeah. I do too. I love it. It's a special thing when they, like I said, energetically I feel them, but I love it when they come in dreams. And sometimes my whole family's together in dreams, which is always fun because I know that they're all literally are together. Okay, I'll read the poem one more time. It is on death. Oh, he's about the same, but trying to keep up Julia's spirits. Oh, honey, I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing energy. I hope things get better. On Death by Khalil Gibran. Okay, you would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind into the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. I love that part. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? What is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing, and when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb, and when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. Hey, Sen. Hey. Yeah, I love the line about, where'd it go? Trust in the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. And about what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun. So it's like becoming one with everything. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. So that's what I focus on. That's what I feel. That's what I see. And so yeah, when it's time for us to go to that place, what is it we want our legacy to be? This community, this love, this, as Greg says, this one love hub, our hearts, our acceptance, our joy. I can't think of a better legacy to leave. It's not about things. People say that nobody's going to care or talk about what a great house you had or what an awesome car you had or, your job or how many hours you spent at your job. Nobody gives a shit. Yes, absolutely, Greg. Nobody cares about, it's the thing. We can't take the things with us. Love, Max, exactly. That's what matters. The rest of it is just, it's transitory. It just comes and goes. That is not what matters. That is not a legacy. People think that we will things to each other. We will items, houses, money, cars. That's fine. But all of that disappears. It's not what is going to stand. It's what kind of a person. You think about Dr. Wayne Dyer. Nobody's going to talk about, his things that he had, his material items. They talk about what kind of a person he was and what kind of an impact he made on the world with his gifts and spreading his message about love and about, connection to spirit, which he still does and is still going to do from the other side. You can still be a teacher. Allison talks about her friend, the dash in between years of living. Allison talks about her friend Raphael, who was just killed. He was a shaman. And she said, she knows he's still, he can still do that. He lived, in the higher realms already. So he's literally there now. So he can still do that and still make an impact and still let us feel his presence from the other side. That never, we come from the light, we return to the light. We are light. When my mom was in hospice for a few days. She had, was in a coma, but I remember I just learned how to do Reiki, and I remember sitting next to her and, holding her hands and just saying, silently, but to her, sorry, you are light. You are of the light. Because I wanted her to know that it was okay for her to go. Sorry. That we would miss her, that we loved her, but it was okay for her to go, because she would still be with us. It's just another form. And she still is. Like I said, I'm not, she's been gone for 5.5 years. So, there'll still be tears. Thank you, Tony. But there was just something, to sit with her like that. There was something very comforting and powerful to know in that silence, to share that, to be with somebody. We don't always get to be. Thank you, Max. Yeah. We don't always get to be with our loved ones when they pass. And I consider it a gift. It was hard. It was hard to watch somebody, as my sister said. I do not want to go and sit vigil at anybody else's bed in this family, because it is very difficult, because you are actually watching somebody die. You're waiting for them to die. But at the same time, it's a gift that you get to spend their last moments with them and just feel that love, that connection. There, was my father, both of my sisters, nieces, nephews, my children, did not come up to the hospital with her. Oh gosh, Tony, that is hard. Yeah, we had to disconnect my mother from a respirator. It is very difficult. And I talked to the nurse and I said, wow, this must be a very difficult job for you to have. And she said, it's sad. But at the same time, she said, when you have families like yourself who are all in agreement, at least, what to do, because it was very much my mother's wish not to be hooked up to a machine. And she said, there are families that can't agree. So I can't imagine, because even though the person who's lying there may seemingly not be hearing anything you're saying, I believe it really is, Greg. They hear everything. They hear everything that's going on in their room. And I know my mother did because her heart rate would go up, depending on who was talking and what was being said. So, they're still there. They're still there. It's kind of like one foot, still in the earthly plane, 1 foot, on the spiritual plane. I was really lucky and honored when I was, my Reiki master teacher had asked for me to join in a distance healing. She did. She used to volunteer at hospice. And that was what she did. And she asked if I would do, obviously it's not a healing when somebody's hospice, but to just send Reiki to that person to send them to the light. And that was the first time this other woman I had done, and this was after my mother had passed away, to do that. And it was really, magical doesn't sound right. It was really just awe-inspiring, because when there's a helicopter flying over, which is really weird. Hold on, the noise goes. Nobody ever flies in helicopters here. Hang on. Anyway, it was an honor. It was an extreme honor, and I still am just, touched by that. Because normally when you participate in a Reiki session on somebody, you feel energy. Now, whether that's, hands-on or distant, I can feel the energy, and it's very palpable. Whether it feels like a tingling or a pulsing, it is truly energy. But this was literally, I could feel this woman's soul moving on, and there was very clearly a divine presence of, a multitude of angels and other family members waiting for her to cross over. And it was just so powerful. And I felt it was such a gift. It was beautiful. It was a real gift to be able to participate in something like that. And my Reiki master teacher actually hesitated in asking me, because she knew my mother had been in hospice and passed away. So she didn't know how I would feel about that. But actually it was healing for me and comforting for me to do that. So it just lets you know there are people that think that there's nothing, a real glimpse into the spirit. Yeah, definitely. I gotta move over this. I'm gonna move that up a little bit. There are people that think once we die, it was, Lisa, it really was. Thank you, Max. There are people that think once we die, that's it. You're dead. Nothing. Darkness, you're in the ground wherever you go. So I want to say, I know that's not true. I mean, people say, I have a friend, he's like, how do you know? I was like, because I've felt it. I've seen that. And if you didn't already believe that, that would be such a huge comfort to know you're going. Yeah, yes, exactly, Greg. That we all go. We all go where we started. We come from the light, which is why I want, when people get this dissension and, my way is better than your way and my God's better than your God, I want to go, you know what? We all came from the same place. We make the differences. We create the differences. We put the labels on ourselves, not God, not spirit, not the divine. And, it makes me sad to think, but there comes a time, and I guess when we all cross over, that, hey, yeah, okay, oh, by the way, you're right. We all are one. We're all here together. We're all return to the spiritual plane. And if we choose to come back again in another life, in another form, that's good too. And for whatever we do, I think we do that to learn lessons into, and that's our choice. And some people have it. And that's just my opinion of what I think. Some people go, ugh, why would you choose to be handicapped? Or why would you choose to be poor? I think that that's what we choose. There are certain lessons we need to learn, certain things we need to go through. And while we in our ego selves and our earthly selves can't understand that, we're not supposed to understand that. That's something inside. Jump back into the roller coaster for fun. Woo! Yeah. It does make you wonder, Tony. Like I said, in my ego mind, I'm kind of like, really? Why would I want to do that? I just kind of want to hang out for a while and be in the peace. And I think that it's our choice. But yeah, that's my opinion. You know, take it or leave it. That's fine. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And I'm cool with that, because we're all entitled to our own opinions, our own beliefs, and I respect that. I respect that about everybody. As long as you don't hurt anybody, you can worship a stop sign. I'm totally fine with that. It's your prerogative, and we are all, as our friend Greg said, it's the one love hub, baby. We're all one. We're all one heart, one love, one light. And I just so appreciate you all being here. Thank you for letting me get a little emotional about my mother. There can be no light without darkness. There can be no union without separation. Yes, true. Yes, Lisa, I don't do as much Reiki as I used to. A go sign. Stop, go. Yes, I am a Reiki master. I don't do as much on a business level anymore. I used to do far more than I do now. But yeah, I learned a few years ago. Yeah, it's an amazing healing technique. I think there are so many. I'll be totally honest with you, as when you are attuned to Reiki, you learn all the symbols. The more I worked and the more healings that I did, the less I relied on the symbols. I just went more with my intuition, but it's all very powerful. Have you been, I know you're learning, Lisa, have you done Reiki yet? Have you been attuned yet to Reiki 1 or Reiki 2? Intent is everything. Yes, it is. And everybody can do it. It's nothing. You know, people go, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Everybody has that ability to do it. Doing Reiki 1 in October. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you would. Each attunement is different. The Reiki 1, I just really connected with it almost immediately. I could feel the energy in my hands, literal sensation, heat, cold, vibration. So it just was an instant click with me, like, oh, okay, this is part of what I should be doing. The Reiki 2 attunement for me was extremely powerful and emotional, as were the following ones. I had 2 more attunements, and my Reiki master teacher was incredibly intuitive. So we would discuss. I'm sorry, my daughter just pulled up. So you can hear her playing music in her car. I do too. I play music loud. So yeah, you may feel that. You may feel a lot of emotion. You may feel the presence of your guides, your angels, often some of your loved ones as well. It can be intense in a very good way. So you'll have to let me know how it goes. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I just don't do it as much. My business is sort of progressing, expanding. I'm moving you over. I'm going to have to oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Yeah, it's incredible. So I really hope that you resonate with it, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say about it. Oh, thank you, Max. Thank you. So are you. Thank you. So yeah, the sun keeps moving. I was earlier out here yesterday, so now I need to shift direction. So sorry if I look like I'm laying down on my table, because I kind of am. So I will sign off for now, but thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the hearts, both the emoticon hearts going up and down the screen, which I love because they're so pretty, pinks and purples. And thank you for your heart and your energy and your love and your presence and your energy. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. And I look forward for Bumble arriving. My daughter would be delighted. My dogs would too. They were like, oh, a new dog to play with. Yay, Bumble. So if I see a FedEx container that's partially chewed, then I'll know Bumble's coming. Thank you, Max. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for holding space and allowing me to share my heart. Okay, eating the plane. Oi. Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you. And like I said, thank you all for holding the space and allowing me to talk and share and cry a little bit, because that's okay. Tears are healing, and we need those. So I'm sending you all lots of love. Oh, my wind chimes are tingling. Can you hear them? I hope you all have a beautiful day. Max, I know it's the beginning of your day. Lisa, it's the end of yours. And Tony and I were kind of in the afternoon in ours, as well as Greg. So wishing you all the love and light in the world. And I will talk to you later on, peeps. Mwah. Love you.